So there's been this ongoing debate recently with the release of Hellblade 2 as to what constitutes a video game. Is simply looking at something on a screen while you're holding a controller enough to be classified as a video game, pushing up on the left stick every once in a while, maybe pressing the A button to jump over something or shimmy over something or under something? What is enough, and is there a standard that needs to be met in order for something to be called a video game? I think that there is, and I think the lowest bar possible has just been achieved with Hellblade 2. And that's not a knock. I played the game to completion. It's a beautiful game, but I feel like they got lost somewhere between wanting to make this really artistic project. I was going to call it a game. And they forgot that the audience that they were serving this to is used to actively participating rather than passively sitting back and watching like you do for television and movies. So what is enough to constitute a video game? And I started to think about other games in this particular walking simulator cinematic experience game. And the one thing that came back to me was Detroit Become Human. Now, I'm replaying that, and wow, is this an amazing looking game? But it is a game. They made sure right from the beginning to give you all of the elements needed to understand what you'd be doing while you played this game. So conversely, if you look at Hellblade 2, I think for something like 30 minutes, the only thing that you're doing occasionally is pressing up on the left stick. Now, for me, my opinion, folks, that isn't enough to justify calling something a video game. There are other things that you do throughout that game. So there's a few of those looking puzzles. They didn't include as many as they did on the first one. And there's combat that's sort of incredibly simplistic and stripped down. They talked about expanding it, and it's literally just a one-on-one. You fight, you win, and then Senua will turn to the next person as if all of those enemies are just waiting their turn to attack her rather than just attack her. And it's the same sort of light, heavy block attack, and then you get the little shimmy ability to slow things down to defeat harder enemies if you choose to use that. So, there's gameplay there, but I feel like we're getting into this weird debate, which doesn't make sense for me, maybe because I'm older and I've been playing games a long time. Maybe you have too. And it's this idea that anything can be a video game as long as it's a video game and you're holding a controller. And I don't believe that. In fact, I reject that completely. I think Hellblade 2 is an example of we're getting close to that. This isn't enough. Where's the meat? Where's the beef? And I don't want to see it go any further. I think a great example of how to do it right again is Detroit Become Human. You start the game and immediately you're trying to negotiate the release of a hostage, and you're in a room and a crime occurred, and you're scanning and you're seeing clues and you're finding ways to piece them together. You're talking to people and you're creating this arc of a story that leads to a central event. And each segment of Detroit is built that way. It's sort of separated into these little vignettes of a character and their interaction in a particular situation, and then at the end of that interaction there's this event that plays out based on the decisions and gameplay that you did leading up to that, and then we go to another event for another character, and all of those things tie together. I think that's the best way to do it. Again, I'm not knocking Hellblade 2. I just feel like, the idea of pushing graphics to the point where we can't tell the difference between reality and fantasy anymore is really a race to the bottom. Once you have photorealism, what do you do then? Just go outside, folks. I want fantasy. I want places I haven't seen before, or subject matter, themes that I haven't seen before. And I feel like this whole idea of what is a game, what isn't a game, we got to be careful, because I don't want to see these movies. I don't want to see, Hideo Kojima was criticized for this. Metal Gear Solid 4, loved it, absolutely loved it. And a lot of gameplay, great stealth action gameplay in there. But there were sections of that game, literally over 30-minute cutscenes. In-engine cutscenes that you watch, so you can say, hey, look at the graphics. But again, there needs to be a clear delineation between what is a TV show, what is a movie, and what is a video game. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Think about liking and subscribing to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.